Welcome to part 2, TornadoTwins here. In this part we're going to make our own trees using the SpeedTree modeler. So go to SpeedTree.com, then click on the store, on the buy button, and then go to Unity5, click on that, and then click on the trees, because we need some of their free trees to start making this tree here. So browse until you see the free one, click on that, create an account, and download it. Unzip the zip file that you can download from here. Also, what we need is go to Unity5 and then applications, and you need the SpeedTree modeler in order to make your own trees. Now, this is 19 bucks a month. If you don't have that right now, just follow this tutorial, see what you can do with it. I guarantee you that making your own trees, however good a modeler you are, is going to take far more time than doing it with this. And any asset on the asset store, are going to be static and do not have the same quality as SpeedTree. So it's absolutely worth the money. We use it in all our games. So let's do that. After you've unzipped the file, open the SpeedTree modeler and open the broadleaf desktop tree. And as you can see, we have a beautiful tree going on with shadow inside of the leaves. Tall branches and some roots at the bottom. So we're going to try and recreate this tree using their assets so that we can learn how to use SpeedTree. Let's go to File, New. And first thing that we need to do is create a branch. So right click anywhere, say Add Geometry, Trunk, New Standard Low Poly Trunk. Use the low poly one because it is low poly. The other ones are more for film use and those kind of things. As you can see here on the right, we have now the tree itself with all its settings and the trunk here on the right, and each of these nodes will start to expand as we add more stuff, similar to the hierarchy in Unity. Then on the left we have the sort of similar to the inspector on Unity, all the variables of what we have currently selected. If I select nothing, I have all my general settings. If I select the trunk, I can change some things about it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the spine of the trunk and change the way that it is looking, because right now it's pretty straight. So I'm going to go to disturbance and increase the disturbance just a little bit. And I'm going to increase the jink frequency also, which bends it around a bit. Let's see, the distance won't change as much. Okay, cool. So I do want the tip to go up straight a little bit more. So with the branch selected, I'm going to right click, say Add Force, and add a magnet. And this will make the trunk follow the magnet that I have. So I'm going to bend it straight again so that we get a little bit of a wiggle in the tree. And I like that. I think that looks cool. So next, let's right click this, say want the trunk selected, of course, and say branches, add low poly knotholes. These are sort of broken branches at the bottom. I like them there, but I want some more on the top here as well. So I'm going to copy this and paste it, then drag it on the trunk so that it inherits out of the trunk. Now they're there, you can't see them because they're the same values, so they're overlapping each other. So in our generator, go and increase the first and last point at which it can be generated. What does that mean? If I increase first, it goes from the trunk up, and this would be the first point from which the knotholes can be generated, and last is the opposite. So I'm only going to need to increase first, and as you can see, the knotholes move up nicely the way I expected them. Okay, now what I want to do is I want to roll them around a bit because they have the exact same placement. So go to roll and increase that until you find something you like. And I'm going to scale them down just a touch. Also in the spine, I'm going to change the length and make the length a bit shorter so that up top they're shorter knotholes. Let me also increase the last here so it's a bit more spread out over the branch. Okay, cool. I like that. That's a good start. Now let's add some branches. So click the trunk again, right click, say Add Geometry, Branches, and Standard Low Poly, and that adds a whole ton of branches for us. Now as you can see, it added two levels. One, which are the branches directly connected to the trunk, and then two, which are connected out of those branches. And you can nest as many as you want, but of course the poly count will start to add up. With level 2 selected, I'm going to hit the H key and hide those branches for now so I can work on the other ones. Now as you can see, the branches do have a tendency to break and split in two. And this is not that kind of tree, so I'm going to select it, and under bifurcation, which is pretty much forking of your branches, I'm going to make the chance a lot lower of that happening. And as you can see now, we have a lot less of those branches breaking. Also, I want them to be not as straight tipped at the end. So what I'm going to do is going to go into the spine, and then I'm going to play with the with the radius. Wait, that's not in the spine, that's in the branch. Yeah, branch and then radius. And as I click on this graph, you can see that the branch starts off thick and then ends very thin. Now I want them to end a bit thicker than that, like so, and that looks good to me. So now that looks better, but they are still a bit too long. So I'm going to select that and go back into my spine and tweak the length by pulling that in just a touch. And also I'm going to tweak the start angle to make it just a bit wider. Okay, that's cool. I like that. That looks good. So now I'm going to unhide level 2 again of those branches and see how that's looking for me. I do think the break chance of this one is a bit high as well. So let's go back into our bifurcation. Make the chance of that happening smaller as well. And that means we can increase the amount of branches we have. So I'm going to go back to my generator and change the style from classic to absolute steps. So we control the steps of how many there are. Then increase the amount of steps that we have to increase the amount of branches. And as you can see, it generates them all on the same side. So we're going to roll those around as well. A touch. There we go. And spread them out maybe a bit more. There. And I'm going to make them a bit longer as well in the spine, increasing the length. Okay, that's cool. There's some really weird ones here growing out just a touch at the beginning of the branch. So what I'm going to do is go into the generator and crank up the first again so that they're created more towards the end of the branches. About halfway. Okay, cool. I like that. Let's work on the roots. So let's select the trunk, right click, add geometry to selected, go down to roots and then standard low poly. And then it's added some roots to it. And if I go with the camera underneath the floor, you can see that the roots are pretty evenly spread and they all break. So I don't like that. I'm going to go change the bifurcation on that as well. And make the chance of that happening absolutely nothing. Then into the generator, and I'm going to sweep it around to make it less even. And also, let's just hide the floor for now. Window and hit ground so that we can look through the floor. I'm going to add with them selected a force and a directional force, and this makes them grow in the direction that I've selected. In this case it grows down. Now with that we can change the start angle to make it wider so that the effect is a bit more dramatic. Let's go to the spine, tweak this a bit. This looks a bit cooler but maybe a bit less, and there we go. And I'm gonna make the length a bit shorter because right now they are pretty tall. Okay, cool. Those are cool, cool looking roots. So I'm gonna turn the ground back on. Now let's start adding some textures before we add the leaves so we can see the difference between what is what. But before we continue, let's save our file. And I'm gonna go this one tutorial tree and save it. Okay, great. So now let's continue on and add leaves and other greenery to the tree to make it look full and lush. But we'll do that in the next video, so follow me over there.